Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the Oshidi's Disability Africa Show. And remember, as I always say, this is the best disability show in the whole world. Why? Because we always talk about matters changing our life. Welcome. My name is Maureen Kaveke, and I'll be your host. And I have a co-host who doubles up as the founder of this organization by the name Martin Kilabi. By now you know him, but for those who do not know him, I will ask him to introduce himself to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Maureen. Mm-hmm. Our viewers, Barizenu, how have you been? It's been 7 days since we last communicated. I hope the El Nino rains have hit your areas. Please take care, stay safe, and especially when you're looking after children with disabilities and youth, please let's put some emphasis there so that they also stay safe. Otherwise, thank you so much for always supporting this show. Like I always say, every day is a learning day. Today we are here to learn from our brother. No, let me not go there. Maureen, back to you. Do your thing.
You're doing well. We don't need this.
No, let me stay on my lane.
You're doing well.
Okay.
Nevertheless,
thank you.
It is my honor, and pleasure to introduce to us Dr. Maina Wa Gioko, who is based in Mombasa. Watu Mombasa, jamani, mmeshindaje? Shikamo. Daktari is in the house. He will be talking about inclusivity in education. That is his area.
Yes.
I hope I got the H.
You did it. You did it.
Where I come from. Dr.
Yes.
Welcome to our show today.
Thank you very
and
much.
And thank you for making time.
Thank you very much.
Yes. How is Mombasa?
Mombasa is warm,
Mm-hmm.
as usual.
As usual.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, thank you for coming. Please introduce yourself now properly to our viewers.
Okay, my name is Maina Wa Gioko, a learning teacher, somebody who is very passionate with education because I want to recover from what I went through as a student. And this is an opportunity to share and learn together. I have this passion for the children of the world because every child matters.
Wow.
Every child matters.
Martin, what a powerful introduction. Daktari, you say...
Why, can I ask?
Yes, please.
Why do you say every child matters?
Well, because we have what you call learner's variability, and every learner has their own strength. Mm-hmm. And we need to appreciate this strength, create support mechanism to nurture so that they become who they are. We normally fall into a trap of comparing. Mm-hmm. And as parents, mm-hmm. we want to fit the gap we missed. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to be a pilot and I didn't make it, I'll work so hard.
Sorry, you're speaking about my life.
I'll work so hard to make my child to become a pilot so that my aspirations are met. Mm-hmm. Or I have an uncle who is an engineer. Mm-hmm. And you know, when we go to local gathering, we say,
yes.
Engineer Mefika.
Yes. So, and these are pitfalls because they have set a framework of the pressure parents are putting to learners, to their beloved children, who they love so much, yet they want
so hard
to replace or implicate it. They are carrying your genes, which has been mixed between you and your wife or husband and wife, and they are a different individual who is unique, either physically, intellectually, culturally, or socially.
Okay. I get it. So because, like for me, I wanted to become a lawyer, and I always say, so it would be very wrong for me to somehow force my child to become a lawyer, because as you've said, it is me who wanted to become that lawyer. I carry that gene.
Yes.
But then there's the other partner.
Yes.
Who maybe wanted to become an engineer.
Yes.
So now when you force this child to become a lawyer, then it means you're losing it. I like that. Martin is lost. You'll understand.
I pray.
I'm processing. I'm
You
processing.
get?
I'm processing.
I've never seen it that way actually until today.
I'm processing, and I'm remembering some things that happened a while ago.
Oh yeah, you told me you shared. For a minute.
Let me listen more.
Okay. Okay.
So I hope you have been transformed as a parent and you're not wearing your lenses in the upbringing of your son or daughter. And you're not pressurizing the teachers in school with the same wavelength for your aspiration, but you are seeing this unique individual whom you brought to this world as somebody who has a space to thrive based on what you are seeing. Because these children we have, they are passionate about something, but are they given space to thrive? You find your child playing video games, and because you have been brought without video games and you believe they are distractors, then you tell him, stop. Yet, if you had followed through why he is playing video game, maybe he wants to manipulate things. So the stimulus is being satisfied by this video game because he is manipulating and he's getting motivation because he's going level 1, level 2, level 3. So this is a person who wants to manipulate, but at the same time get a stimulus or an appreciation or a motivation to keep going. So if we are going to appreciate, that kind of learner is somebody who should be taken through appreciation. When they do something small, we celebrate the small successes because they have been wired that way. We all have a brain, and I know last week I watched what you discussed, and we all have a brain.
About the green.
Yes, but the brains are wired differently because the neurons pathway are normally formed by the experiences we get, by the appreciation we get, by the motivation we get. But there is what we call external motivation, and there is what we have yourself. So those two negotiate and they create a balance. If here you say elephant, because elephant is big based on what we have been told, then we tend to compare. If I've never seen an elephant, I'll think of anything big to that elephant. If you say avoid red color, I'll be seeing all the red colors. That's why skiers, when they are skiing, they are told, follow the pathway. They're not told, avoid a tree. Because the moment you're told, avoid a tree, you'll be hitting a tree.
Yeah. Daktari, listening to you, where you are coming from is very deep. And I'm beginning to ask myself, what inspired you? What inspires you? Where did you come from with all this? But it sounds like it sounds from very far, deep.
Yes. I come from a very humble family who saw me as a firstborn who had an opportunity to succeed. And they tried their best to push me to school. Then I had a very different experience in school where I was physically punished without any reason by big people and I was small. I expected them to guide me, but they thought by hitting me hard, it will drive it in my head.
But I tell you, how would someone punish you for no reason?
I like that because when you say no reason, it's a perspective. When a child does something, it's because they have a reason of what they're doing. We have moved away from right to wrong with our children to asking them, why did you do that? So when I was punished, I was doing the right thing according to me. And here comes a teacher who had a different perspective. So I was punished because of mathematics, and I grew through that. I went to the university. I became a very nice guy in electronics and working with the technology. And then I asked myself, if I can control these machines, I can code, they can do what I can. What if I work with humans? What if I use the same skill with humans? I was told you need to go back to college. I said, yes, I'll go back. So I went back to college and learned education.
So your first degree was in
Science, electronics, yes.
Wow.
So when I came back, I said, now I think I'm empowered. And the best thing with machines, they have no emotions. Maybe now with artificial intelligence, they're
Yes,
getting emotional.
yes.
But they are friendly, they are patient, they accept everybody the way they are.
Yes.
And they tell you, try again.
Yes.
Yes.
So I say, how if we become like that as parents, as teachers, appreciating
Wow.
everybody with whoever, there are three things. There is the way we engage and explore. When you bring a ball here, one child will kick it, one will sit on it, one will say, a ball.
One will step on it.
Yes. So the way we express and engage is one thing. There is representation. How do you represent that ball? It can be in a video, it can be on a paper, it can be the ball itself. And then there is action and expression. The way I said, what do you do with the ball? So all these are indicators of why we are different.
Oh, okay.
And as parents, as educators, as policymakers, we need to watch what was shown last week, watch it again, and appreciate that as your fingers are different,
Yes.
even your children who are born by your wife and you are the husband are different. No two brains are the same.
Maureen, last episode, last week, is syncing so well with what Dr. is saying.
Yes.
That we all need to begin to appreciate our children's unique strength and nurture them.
Yes.
I think that is the point.
And stop comparing them.
Yes.
Especially like in Africa, thank God our last guest was from the developed world. So maybe their culture may be different. But here, speaking from experience, from where we come from in Kenya, Daktari,
Yes.
we tend to compare our children.
Yes.
Because so-and-so's kid is a doctor
Yes.
or an engineer,
Yes.
then you need to bring the same
Yes.
to this house.
When you talk about excellence, it's very personal, it's very individualized. And when you say comparing and benchmarking, it brings issues. If you watch my last episode in Kigoda, NTV, prime time, when there was a huge cry on CBC, the complaint was that all students are told to print and not all parents have computers. And I debunked that. I said, no, that is not the truth. I am teaching about identifying a bush. I will tell my children, when you go home, look at ways in which we can identify a bush. Some parents will go online and download a bush. Another parent will walk with their children and identify a bush.
Yes.
Another one will tell a child, can you draw the bush? So this is what we call accommodation. We are appreciating that each and every child is thinking differently, and you look at ways in which you can accommodate their differences, because the key idea is affordance. How do you afford to see the concept of a bush? How you do your pathway varies. I can even call Shosho and to explain a bush to my child.
You said every child matters.
Yes.
And talking about CBC, do you think CBC is inclusive? Do you have...
There is an aspiration. If you look at the Kenya Institute of Curricular Development, they said nurturing all learners' potential. I love that statement.
Okay.
We need to nurture all learners' potential. Because you know the bell curve. Every teacher is very comfortable with the mid-range, which is majority.
Yes.
We forget the 5% who are learning differently, and we forget the other 5% who get uncomfortable in class because things are not speaking to them. So it's high time.
Say that again. Can you say that again? Because things are not speaking to.
Yes, to them.
That's my area of interest.
Yes. So when you look at the bell curve, we have these 5% learners who need the teacher to slow down, the teacher to call them by name, not you. And there is this other high percentage who we are now labeling gifted, we are labeling talented. But for me, I'll say they are able differently because what stimulates them, they are not in the norm. Because there are two things who makes them different. They are either not in the norm or they are excelling. Did I mention a subject? No. I can be excelling in playing football. I can be excelling in acting in drama. I can be excelling in mathematics.
Okay.
So we need to broaden the issue of G and T, gifted and talented, across all those spectrums of physical, of intellectual, of social, as well as cultural. And that means that when my son comes home with a D+, he's not doing well in financial literacy, and he's a good rapper. We have a tension with my wife. She said, you are good in mathematics, so our son should be good in mathematics. I said, don't worry, he's good in rapping. He can write songs. And you know, rapping is mathematical because there is a sequence, there's a repetition, there's a pattern. That's what we call music. And music is mathematics. But in the class, they are being told algebra and something called probability. Yet this guy loves patterns, repetition, and something which is in harmony.
Wow.
So this is a real life case, I'm telling you.
So are you saying it, Daktari, is it okay for us to allow our children to pursue, like you said, rapping, and which comes along with perhaps dreadlocks, keeping dreadlocks?
Yes.
Are you telling us it's okay for them to
What I'm saying is
do this?
Yes, what I'm saying is when you find your child or your learner, I'm talking to teachers and students and their parents, is out of the norm, you need to find out what makes them to be out of the norms. Then create support mechanism to facilitate them to excel. I've had the argument of Nameless is an architect and he's singing. So it has been thrown to me. So let him excel and do something and then do music. That is putting things on a scale and saying music is not better than. So what I'm saying is identify, because in formative years, learners don't know what they want. You have asked a small, what do you want to do? Today I want to be a lawyer. Then when they go out at the airport, I want to be a pilot.
Yes,
then they visit a hospital, I want to be a doctor, which is okay. So it's an explorative way. But then slowly they start being comfortable with the way they learn. Because you start with, how do you learn? Are you kinesthetic? You see how I'm gesturing? I've written a paper about gestures because I know gesturing drives a point home. I used to be told, you gesture a lot. And then I studied why I should gesture a lot. Because I teach physics, which is abstract. And unless I bring it with gesture, I scaffold it with gestures, I will lose 60% of my learners. So we need to create access to learning by knowing our learners and then appreciating what we call learners variability. If you look at what Howard Gardner, a former mentor of mine, who talked about multiple intelligences, that some children learn by doing. Imagine this child coming and listen to me, open page 18. How will that child? They feel out of place, they're excluded.
Yes.
Because of the way you are doing your instruction. So you're already excluding this child because of their preference of learning. That's one level. Then there is this child who has a condition. When they look at words, words are flying. Because most of the teachers have an issue they do not know, they treat it as a discipline issue.
Yes. Yes.
And it is not discipline. He looks at the words and they're flying all over. But if you present the same how a flower grows in a video, they will afford, I will repeat the word afford as many times, they will afford to conceptualize what you're doing. So it's a matter of creating affordance. So when the national curriculum gives you a content, as a teacher or a parent, you need to contextualize. If your child loves football and they're talking about numbers, come with a football table. He will love looking at the football table because it's football, but actually they are numbers. So first content, then you contextualize. Then for teachers, you construct a learning experience which will make them access the concept. So it is content, context, construction to conceptualization. So this pathway is taken by different students based on their abilities. But remember, we are abled differently. So you need to appreciate that if I have this condition, don't use words, use a video. If I have this condition, let us discuss and do a skit in front of the class. Have you seen that when a teacher is missing, you'll see 2 or 3 children going there and pretending to be that teacher, and even using the language of that teacher? That's a child with some gift, because they are very expressive.
But they were treated like indisciplined cases.
Exactly. So that is, it should be nabbed at its budding, then it is nurtured so that it blossoms.
Wow. Because I used to do that a lot. Mimicking. Oh.
The reason why you wanted to be a lawyer, I'm sure you are a noisemaker in class. And you are asking so much questions and you wanted to know why.
Yeah, I'm the why. I will not
Exactly.
take this.
There you are. But you see, your teachers did not nurture that. Your teachers
but
did
I could
not
mimic teachers.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So
and you see now what are you doing on screen?
So it's a strength.
Yeah.
It's a strength.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's taken for indiscipline.
Because of our reference points.
Oh my God.
You have had teachers saying, sit down, fold your hands, and look in front. And then there is there's a video which I would have shown. There's this child who used to do this when the teacher is teaching. Then they could hit him. Then now he's a drama. Yes. So there was this innate brain activity, which was making him comfortable with that action, which was misread to be indiscipline.
But Daktari, how well prepared are our teachers? But before you answer me this, I will allow you to take a glass of water because I can see you.
This is a lot.
You're so informed, What you is a kopo la maji. We'll be right back with more from the Daktari.
We'll be right back.
I can start.
Hey, you can start.
Okay, let's do this.
Dear viewers, welcome back to our show. And remember, we have Dr. Maina Wa Gioko in the studio with us today. Yeah. And remember, we are talking about inclusivity in education.
Yes.
And oh my, what am I? That child is loaded. It is interesting. Even some things that we never knew exist. That child, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And before we took the break, I'd asked you a question. How well prepared
Our teachers.
are our teachers? Do you have the resources? Do you have the capabilities to do what you're telling us to do? Please carry it on from there.
Thank you very much. Theoretically and on paper, the country is well prepared in terms of what is expected. But practically, there is a diverse implementation based on 3 factors. One is the interpretation of the expectation. 2 is the long-term memory of this is how we have been doing things. And 3 is being able to have resources and mechanism of bringing or including everybody. And therefore, there are pockets of success whereby identification of the diversity in learning, teachers have been skilled of. Can you check the child who you always throw out of class? I was thrown out of class many times.
Why?
How was that?
Why?
Because I was listening to the teacher and I could ask questions because I'm not getting what they're saying.
They mistook me for a nuisance?
Yes, they mistook me for not a nuisance. They used to say this other word of dandahead.
Dandahead, yeah.
In Kiswahili, we say hashikanishi. And teachers, it's so bad when you say mtoto hashikanishi, because they have come to your school ndio wewe umshikishe, ndio
Amekuja
umshikishe ndio ishikamane.
Wow.
So never say that I shall hashikanishi, because you're a professional teacher and it doesn't matter where you are. I've worked in interior Kilifi, in Transmara, in Western Kenya, where the roof is the sky. But we have teachers who are very innovative. They are able to identify this learner, prefers learning this way,
Yes.
and therefore they customize. Never say, I teach grade 3. No way. You teach 25 learners in grade 3. Oh. And never say, I teach maths. No. You teach learners. So we have to use the right lingo, because the way we express ourselves, it sends signal to our brain. So when I go to class, I don't see grade 3. I see 25 different individuals in my class.
That is so powerful.
Oh.
And therefore, I need to customize. Imagine going to your kitchen and everything is a sufuria. You go crazy.
Yeah, not exciting at all.
Exactly. So it's the same thing that when you go to a classroom or when you have your 5 children,
Yes.
each of them is different. So,
Oh, man.
and therefore, differentiation is a unit which teachers are prepared, but they're still struggling with it because it's hard. I used to have a special learner in my classroom. She was so nice, so sharp. So I spoke to the parents. Can I give her a different task? So there must be a partnership between teachers and parents. Parents did not recognize. Why are you asking that? I explained and they understood. So I used to set a different task for that young lady. And she used to excel. The brain is elastic. So if you put the bar here and I reach there, then I stop learning. I have to raise it, and do what you call in education, make it rigorous so that it can be stretched. That is 1. 2, we always have a different bars. And 3, we have a different way of rising. So how do you become a chef who prepares a cuisine to meet the needs of every learner? So that's what we are trying to prepare teachers. And we are doing samples like the Action Foundation. We are working with deaf girls through the sponsorship of Google. We are trying to equip them with coding skills, problem solving, and they are amazing. Wow. And you know, they removed this, they used to say deaf and, I don't want to say it.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
Because it does not exist.
Yeah, you used to say GLP.
Yes.
You used to say GLP. I don't want to say it. I didn't say it. It doesn't exist.
Yes. They are as sharp as every other. So, if I'm able differently, first accept me. Second, understand me. And third, support me. The rainbow has 7 colors. When you mix them, it becomes white. Can you appreciate that?
Oh.
Hey. No, and maybe even that's why we had this objection. about the CBC system. Because I think as a people, as a country, we want to be lazy. Without due respect, I love and respect teachers. And of course, they've made us what we are, and they're doing an amazing job in the country. But again, how many teachers are willing to go that extra mile
And become so
to
involved.
identify these children with special needs in the classrooms, and even to go that extra mile and to help them, to support them, as you said, identify, appreciate that this condition exists, and support.
Yes, yes.
How many of us are willing, even in the society, in our villages, in our areas that we live, how many people are willing, Dr.
Thank you very much. When I say it, we are all able differently. I know you wonder how. So we need to begin with ourselves and appreciate that there are things we find difficult to do.
Yeah.
So that is our different ability. I can't run a marathon like King Kipchoge. But doesn't mean that I can't do something else better. So once we appreciate that there are things we enjoy doing, and there are things we are uncomfortable to do, although we would wish to, then that speaks to the kind of